How's it going? Jason here. Thanks for checking out the channel today. So today I'm going to show you how to create an infinitely reusable pop-up. Now, if you have a small to medium-ish site and you do use pop-ups a lot, if you create them individually, then you're going to have a maintenance nightmare if you want to make changes to it. So let's just say you wanted to resize all of your pop-ups throughout your site to be the similar width and height. If you have individual pop-ups, you're going to have to do that obviously as many times as number of pop-ups you have. So here's a little trick that you can use to create something that is reusable. So I'm going to have something on my artist site here where I've got a few pop-ups. I've got a pop-up for adding the artist. I've got one for adding the genre. I've got one for viewing the artist details, and I want to make this one pop-up and then just use custom states to be able to show whatever thing it is that I'm clicking on. So I can do all of these functions with one pop-up. So let's start with creating an artist pop-up. So first I'm going to go into my existing pop-up, and I need to add some custom states first of all. So what I want to do is I want to have a custom state for the artist data type. So if I'm clicking that from the artist listing page, it's going to load that artist into this custom state. I also want one for my track. I'm going to set this to track. And I also want to be able to reuse the header on the pop-up, so I need to be able to set the header text, and I want to be able to set this to text. And I'm also going to introduce one that is going to be useful later on, and just type. So the type is basically going to control which group gets displayed. Now I could do this by saying if the pop-up artist is not empty, show the artist panel. If the track custom state here is not empty, show tracks, but I'm going to use type instead because it's just easier to keep track of. And I want to make sure it's text, so it's a little bit easier to read. So I've got my three pop-ups here. I'm going to do the artist detail one first. So first of all, make sure all of your groups are set to collapse when hidden, and do not show this on page load. And what I want to do is I want to set a condition that when the pop-up type is show artist, then I want this element to be visible. So now what I'll have to do is in my artist listing here, I'm going to click on the artist name, click on edit workflow, or add workflow if you haven't added one. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the state of those elements. Now you could show the pop-up first. I always set the information in the pop-up first just to make sure there's no delay for the user. So I'm going to set the artist custom state on that pop-up to be the current cell's artist, which is the one that I'm clicking on. And I also want to set the header text to be the name of the artist. So I could basically make this value whatever I want. And then I want to set the type to show artist. And the next thing I need to do is to show the actual pop-up. So if I go here and reload this, go to my artist tab. Now it is going to load the artist in here, but I don't have anything on this generic pop-up that's actually pulling information from that particular artist. So let's go and add that stuff. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a reusable header on this page. So let's show this pop-up again, and I'm going to add a group to the very top. I'm going to call this group header, and let's just give it a color. I want to set this to row, and I want to stretch the columns out, because what I want to do is I also want to put a close button on there, which is going to be generic. And let's just add a little bit of padding on the left and right, and let's add a text element here. So I'm going to set the text to be that custom state value. So I want the pop-up to show the header text that I've set. And let's center that. And let's change this because I meant to do padding, not margins. And now I'm going to add my close icon. All right, so let's deal with the closing icon first. So I'm going to click on that, hit add workflow, and then I'm going to hide the pop-up first. So I do this backwards from setting it. So I'm going to hide the pop-up and then I'm going to reset it. So basically to clear all the states away. So this way some text and stuff doesn't just disappear on the pop-up before it closes. It'll close it first and then it'll disappear. You might still see something. So if you really wanted to be careful, you could put a little pause before next action and pause for maybe half of a second just so it has a chance to hide the pop-up entirely before doing that. But I don't think for this example I need to worry about that. So let's go and check out our artist pop-up. So now it's loading the artist name and the pop-up is closing. All right. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this artist details group to be the value that is stored inside the artist custom state. So now I should see the bio for the artist and the genres. All right, so let's do the same thing with tracks. I think you get the point by now, but let's just do one extra one just in case. So I'm going to just duplicate this. I'm going to copy and paste and change this to track details. I want this to be tracks, and I want to use the other custom state that I set, or that I will set, which is the track element. Now I do need to change this condition as well to say show track. Make it visible when you show the track. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the track name in the repeating group, and I'm going to add the workflow. I already have a workflow in here because I have a secret admin function that allows you to edit the track, and you can check out that tutorial here. But right now, I'm just going to simply set the state of the element. I'm going to set the pop-up, the track to be the parent group track in the repeating group. And I also need to set the type, which is going to be show track. And then I also need to set the header text, which I'm just going to set to the parent group's track name. And then now show the element, pop up generic element, reload the page. So now it's grabbing the song name, it's closing, artist, showing the artist name. And that's all there is to it. So I use this on some of my bigger sites as well. So I have a reusable pop-up that is a confirmation dialog box. So in an event management system that I built, my trainers can add and remove people. They can mark them as participating in a class. They can resend post-workshop emails and stuff like that. And I put all that stuff in a pop-up because it's just easier. So there's a page that has all of the event attendees on it, and there's a bunch of functions on there. It all opens the same pop-up and it uses the same thing. So it's much, much easier for me to manage maintenance, and if I add a function where I need to increase the size of a pop-up for the dialog box, I can do that only in one spot and I never have to worry about running into a maintenance nightmare. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember to like and subscribe, drop a comment if you've got any questions. See you next time.